Hey guys, Pat and Heidi here from Rain Country.
God is good.
All the time. We just wanted to put up a video to kind of give you guys an idea of kind of what we've been doing a little bit lately. In between funerals and different things, it's just been a very behind the scenes kind of a show here lately, and things that we didn't really think that you guys would be interested in. Just life stuff. And so what we wanted to do is let you know what we have done. And so we're moving ahead on our front yard orchard. So I removed, finally got a couple of stumps, the last two of the stumps removed out of the yard. We had a cedar tree and then also the birch tree. And so I let the birch tree decay for a few years, so I didn't want to affect the integrity of our foundation. So I let that rot. I let that decay for a few years, and it was still sound enough to where it took a little bit to get it out of there without trying to dig too close to the foundation of the house. So
that's your excuse?
That's one of them.
Yeah, but it was really close to the corner. It was corner of the old dance room.
I think it was on between 5-10 feet or something like that, and the stump was a pretty good sized stump, relative to where it was located. So we had to take and remove that, backfilled and leveled out the hole. Also did that with the cedar in the front yard. That was a green stump, or a stump that was pretty fresh, so it had a lot of roots. I hauled a couple of stump truckloads of material away, and I still, after doing that, I still rutted around and dug up some more cedar roots, and I got a big old pile of cedar roots out there in the yard to deal with so far. But Ryan has some more material around his yard. He's got to remove, so we'll make a load out of that and get rid of it. So, yeah, I got the whole backfilled basically for the front yard. Got it prepped for receiving some fruit trees. We plan on putting in conjunction with what we have right now. We just have a Frostless peach out there right now. We had one peach on that.
We didn't get any.
We didn't get any
peaches. Get peaches this last year.
Yeah, we had little peaches coming on last year, but they all fell off.
Yeah.
And we had some folks make mention of cedar rust, and that's a very good possibility. The cedar tree also shaded the peach tree quite a bit, so no more of that. The cedar tree's finally gone. We'll bring in some more horse manure and mix in with that in the front yard. And we have a plum and an apple tree. So we're going to go ahead and set those out. We have those in pots right now, and so we want to go ahead and get those set out. And we have a black gold cherry. It's a self-pollinating cherry tree that grows great. Apparently grows really good here. Yeah. So we're gonna grow that, and we might be able to sneak one more out there.
We still have that little peach tree in the greenhouse that I want to get out of there, and I kind of wonder.
I just don't know if that's going to do well outside, but we can we can set that out somewhere, but we don't want to get too crowded out there either. We do want these all to be semi-dwarf trees, and so we're going to keep them pruned back so we can get a variety of fruit, not too much of one, but at least have a variety of fruit that comes on. So our goal here is to make ourselves as self-sufficient as possible, and we are doing that on, if you guys are pretty new to our channel, we're doing that on 1/3 of an acre, and we don't do too bad, especially up here in the northwest. But the goal would be eventually maybe to get some more property somewhere else, and try our hand at doing a little bit larger scale farming. When I was a kid, we had a little bit more land to work with, and so I was exposed to raising horses and pigs and
And food.
chickens and no goats, but we did raise our own beef and different things. So I don't know how to what extent we want to go. It all depends on what God leads us to. We're actively looking for property all the time, and we don't get too excited about it. We're just doing what we can here, saving what we can, putting up what we can. Another thing that happened just recently is we had a storm come through here and tore quite a few of our shingles off the house. So that's going to put a little bit of a dent in our finances. So we have to redo that this summer. So we got that up and coming. What else, Mrs. Rain?
Well, with all that in mind, one of the things we wanted to talk a little bit about is the focus of our channel. And, whether you be new or you've been with us for a while, sometimes we talk about how, we get concerned that some of the stuff we do here may just be getting old with people because, we don't have acres and acres of land like a lot of other channels out there that really just grow and do great, and that's wonderful. And or people that go get land and they're moving on to it. And I know how exciting it is to see people, starting afresh and moving forward. And I'm sure sometimes, I worry that sometimes we might bore people because we haven't taken that leap yet. One reason is, well, we don't want to just settle for anything, and we don't want to go into debt, and we don't want to move away from our kids. There's just so many things to figure in here. And you know what? We're set up really good right where we are. And really, when I started this channel back in August of 2016, it wasn't about, I really questioned whether or not I even wanted to put Homestead on our channel name, which I did go ahead and do that for the time being, but I ended up dropping it. Though, our store and other things still have Homestead linked to it. Just because I know some people get a little sensitive about that, even though if you look up what the actual, common or modern definition of homestead is, it can simply be, having a home and trying to be as self-sufficient as possible. It's that simple. It doesn't mean you have to have 10 acres, 140 acres. It doesn't mean you have to have goats and horses and cows and pigs. It's just doing what you can. It could be making handcrafted goods and selling them. That actually is included in a homestead. So I'm like, well, we really do fit in with this description, even though there is this group of people that just has a really hard time accepting a small scale homestead like ours as part of homesteading. We don't really fit into the norm when it comes to that. However, back to what my point was, is my initial goal really starting the channel was to help people in the direction of becoming more self-sufficient. It wasn't necessarily about farming. I wasn't even sure if I was going to focus on my garden, though people really love my garden videos. And we pretty much turned our whole backyard into a garden, and little by little been turning our front yard into a garden. The whole kit and caboodle. And then we've got a side yard over here. That's what I call the West Herb Garden, but we've got an apple tree there, and we're going to put another apple tree on where the spruce was. That's the plan, the one that's in the pot on the deck anyway, that's been in there for like 5 years or something.
Well, that was the birch tree anyway.
What did I say?
Spruce?
Oh, I said spruce.
Yeah.
Where the birch tree was. That's what I meant.
Well, I mentioned birch tree earlier, so that might confuse folks.
So back to our focus, and that is, I really want to keep doing what we're doing. Anytime I learn something new that I want to share with other people, I'm going to do that because that's always been my desire. That's what I did when I was teaching dance. That's what I did when I was teaching martial arts. And when I was doing those things, I was always trying to throw health tips out to my students all the time. I don't know how much they appreciated it, but I figured it all fit in. We're trying to be healthy and strong with our bodies. We should be healthy and strong with our lifestyle in general. I mean, everything we do should, when it comes to that, should apply all the way around. Same goes with self-sufficiency. And the whole idea that I know we are not the only people out there that are trying to make the most out of a small space. And so that's the other reason I'd like to maintain our focus, at least as long as we're in this spot, which for all we know, we could be here till we die.
A lot of the folks that watch us, you know, they live on a quarter acre, or they live on a third of an acre just like us, or might even live on an acre or 3/4 of an acre. But they might have the same goals and aspirations that we do. Maybe they're doing the same thing that we're doing, and they're trying to acquire, develop skills, acquire and develop a financial standing and materials resource to make that next step. And so that's where we're at. And the reason why we haven't made that step yet is because we are not wanting to go into debt to do that at this stage of the game. You know, it wouldn't be right for us to preach to you self-reliance, independence, skills-based, prepping ideas, and then jump out there and go into debt to buy a big farm or something like that. It kind of flies in the face of what we're trying to accomplish here. We don't want to preach something that we're not practicing. So with us, it's going to be cash or nothing. Whether it be pay cash for a piece of property and maintain where we're at until we can make that transition, or sell this place, and so we can put all of our money into something else. So a lot of these things we're trying to stay open-minded on to whatever God's leading is when it comes to making that transition. That is a dream that we have, but we're also you know, going to be happy with what we have. We feel that we're blessed with what God has given us. He's given us the wherewithal and the ability to make do with what we have here. Yeah, I mean, you can always do better on a larger piece of acreage because you have more resources and more room to raise livestock. So when you guys are watching our channel, I hope that you don't have expectations of, oh, they're going to get a bigger piece of land. We may or we may not. But what we hope to drive home with you guys is to live your dream where you're at with what you have until something better comes along. And that's what we want to drive home to our viewers.
Yeah, and you don't want to wait for something better to come along, because maybe it never will. You want to just start right where you're at. Like we got Tina's Tiny Living. And, you know, she's a local here, and she's got her own little YouTube channel. And she's just living in a 2-room apartment and doing quite a bit, you know, trying to do a little bit more all the time to be as self-sufficient as she can in her little space. And so, again, that really is our goal, is to inspire and to encourage. Because, like I said, you know, we may be here for the rest of our lives or not. We keep looking. We keep, you know, waiting on the Lord.
One thing is for certain, it's really tough this day and age not to go into debt in order to get your first house. But we advocate paying it off as fast as you can and not maintain that debt, but always strive to get out of that debt at whatever means you are comfortable in doing. You know, people are more driven than others to say, okay, well, I'm going to get rid of all my cars, and I'm going to get an old $200 or $300 car and drive that until I get my house paid off, or I'm going to walk, you know, or whatever it is. But there are different ways or different things that you can do to minimize your overhead and maximize the money that you have coming in. So that's what our channel's about, and I hope you guys get something from it.
If you're new to our channel, some of the other things that we have out there as far as videos go is, you know, we try to keep it pretty eclectic, but also focused on what we do, things that we know, and things that we're learning. So Mr. Rain has several videos, quite a few on woodworking, making different projects, fixing things, building, you know, making shelves, making this, making that, making countertops. He also has things that have to do with metalworking. He has quite a few of those as well. Plumbing related stuff, you name it, anything that, any of that kind of, even auto related videos. And this is all because we're very, very DIY.
And alternate energy.
And yeah, solar,
stuff.
we have solar power. We will be hopefully someday putting out a video on the rainwater catchment and what we've got going on with that. I know a lot of people keep asking. I have a lot of videos on sewing, crocheting, and with more to come. I do have more to come. And so I have the crocheting 101 for those who are totally new to crocheting, and I'll eventually be putting some more advanced stuff. And I've got a lot of cooking videos, a lot of gardening videos, and basically I don't really consider my gardening videos a how-to. It's more how I do it, which is going to be very different from what most people do, because I'm just like, well, let's try this. I'm very experimental. I don't do Back to Eden, I don't do this, I don't do that. I just do whatever comes to mind that I think is going to work. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And I try to explain it as I go. So that's where I'm at with the gardening.
Well, you got a lot of health videos.
I got
You got a lot of health
herb
videos,
and
yeah, and canning, preserving, money saving tips, all kinds of different.
Yep, we're pretty, like I said, we're pretty eclectic, and that's the way we like to be. We want to get it all out there so people can learn as much as they can. As some of it's stuff we've known how to do for years, and some of it's stuff we're learning as we go. And
Right.
so we're just sharing it and hoping to inspire other people. And I do want to talk just a little bit about the garden. I mean, with it being February, there's not tons going on here in rain country, except for rain.
We're growing mud.
And a little bit of snow. We're growing mud. Yeah, we're growing lots of mud. But what's been kind of cool is that I have some pansies in a pot out on our deck that never died back. This has never happened, where I had pansies that bloomed all through the winter, and they're still blooming. They never stopped blooming. Now, they didn't put out a lot of blooms, so I kind of kept forgetting they were there, or I should have been harvesting them. But now I notice that they're starting to put out more, because I'm like, man, why am I just leaving these? And I started pinching the heads off, and now they're putting out more blooms, which is crazy. And also had kale that didn't completely die back, and so I've been able to harvest kale all year round.
Haven't had any terrible freezes either.
No, we've had a couple of freezes, but they were so short-lived. They weren't hard and deep enough for it to cause anything, all these things to die completely back. And our marshmallows are already starting to come back.
Yeah.
Already, it's crazy to see the little red shoots coming up out of the ground.
Notice that on your elderberries and blueberries.
And the elderberries, yeah, I did catch a couple pictures of those. So the elderberries are leafing out already, and we got buds on the trees and on the blueberries, and so that's really cool. And then I finally got out there and started working on the grapevines, getting those pruned back. And I still got a little bit more to go. It's at one spot that's just really hard to get to, so I have to move all the pots on the deck just to get to it. But the hummingbird likes it, though. We've got a couple of hummingbirds that have been hanging
Wintering
around
out here.
all through the winter.
Mhm.
And it's like one year we had one, and this year we had 2 or 3 of them. So it's been kind of neat with that. But anyway, the garden, we're kind of starting to get, we don't actually put the garden in for a couple months or so, but we're getting to where we're starting to get it ready, and that's exciting. Like anyone who gardens knows, it's exciting, to see what new you can do. And I'm super excited about the fruit trees, and finally getting the ones in pots, because we have an apple tree and a couple of plum trees in pots. We're only going to put one of the plum trees in the ground, and then the apple tree that we've had for years, and then getting the cherry tree. And then the other thing is Lisa Booker, thank you Lisa, the kid, she sent us in honor of my mom a gift certificate to Baker Creek to get a couple of plants to plant for remembrance of my mom, and that was very sweet. Thank you, Lisa.
Very thoughtful.
I picked out a fig, and I can't remember the name of it already, and then some aronia, I think it's called, berries. They look kind of like a blueberry, so we're gonna try those. They're just gonna be little plants to start with, so we'll see what happens. And I'm supposed to get 2 of each, I believe, so that's what we decided to try. and I have no idea where we're going to put them yet.
That's why we need more land.
But we always keep finding ways to make more space, though. We keep making it work right here on our little spot. So, oh, and I also wanted to throw out there before I forget, again, if you're new, it's not even just about food and sewing and cooking. I have videos on how to make your own beauty products and your own deodorant and shampoo and laundry soap. And a lot of people have laundry soap videos, but mine's a little bit different, especially my newest one. I make a powder off my own homemade soap. I have several soap videos, so you can check those out. And I will always come up with some new recipes and be sharing those. Herbal tea recipes that you can make yourself, especially out of things that you grow in your own garden, or some spices you can add to it. I got some more of those coming out as far as videos go. Lots of health related things. We, again, if you're new, you probably, Mr. Rain and I were on thyroid medications for 15 years, and that was the only prescription medication we were ever on, and we took ourselves off. We just did it ourselves, and I did it by researching on my own and looking things up, and just weaned ourselves off, and we're doing great without having to be on big pharma drugs, and feel better than we did when we were on them. And we've been off them for, I think, 7 years, so, and doing good.
Right.
So that's after being on them for 15 years. In fact, when I was researching this back before we completely went off of them, one of the doctors I would follow quite a bit back then, I was looking at what he had to say, and that was Dr. Mercola, which, he's got some really good stuff out there. But at the time, the video I saw said he didn't think that someone who had been on thyroid medication for 10 years or more could do it. Well, we're here to prove him wrong on that. And he was just making an assumption. It wasn't, because he didn't know. And
it could be different for different
it might
folks,
be for different for each person. But I think as long as you have a thyroid gland, still, you haven't had it hacked out by doctors that are still practicing dark ages medicine, then I think you can do it. That's my personal feelings. But there also are natural thyroid medications that you can take. You don't have to take that cruddy synthetic garbage. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. That's just to give you another sampling of what we have out there. We have videos on how we did it, how we went off our thyroid medication, and we have natural painkillers, stuff that I grow in my garden.
And we're not through. There are some videos out there that we haven't forgot about. There's been requests on different things. We finally got the colloidal generator video out.
Finally.
How to make your own colloidal silver. And there's a lot of grateful people because they've been pretty anxious to see that video. Another one is on our water catchment system. And we'll put that together at some point. We're going to expand our solar, so there's things up and coming that we have to get out there as a special request for some folks. But we generally take your requests to heart. So if you guys have any ideas of what you might want to see, you're curious about when it comes to any of the things that we've mentioned, any facets within that skill set, let us know, and that gives us video ideas and also gives you guys some knowledge on how we do things.
Right. And just a little side note, some people either don't, even though they've been following us for a while, may not realize this or forget. Most of the videos that you see come out, they were recorded at least 3 weeks or more prior to the time that you're seeing it. So the weather may seem a little odd, or, well, it's odd anyway because this is rain country and mostly all it does is rain here. But so just so you know, we do have videos that are out there. This one I'm going to squeeze in earlier than that, so it will be closer to the time frame, because today that we're filming this is actually February 3rd, so whatever day this comes out, I don't know. I'm hoping it will be within this week. But I'm going to try to squeeze it in somewhere between the other videos that I already have scheduled to go up. So that's how it works. That's one way we prep. We stay prepared, is staying ahead on our videos. So in the case of another life event that happens, or we need to go, help some other family members out, we have to take a break from YouTube, there's still videos coming out. And so that's how we work. So as it stands right now, at the time that we're shooting this, I've got videos about another, like how to crochet your own hair ties and scrunchies, how to Mr. Rain has some about some more woodworking related ones, and how to fix a leak, under the ground leak. There's one of those because we had a leak out in the backyard and he fixed it himself. It was under the ground. Who knows how long it had been going on, but anyway, he took care of that, thankfully. And I've got an egg roll wrap video I've been meaning to do for the last 2 years, and I finally got around to it. So how you can make your own egg roll wraps. It only takes 3 ingredients, and it's pretty easy, and it's a lot healthier than the garbage you can buy in the store. So that's just a couple examples of what we have coming out, and yeah, so
Every so often, we'd like to put out a video to kind of let you guys know what our directions are, and where we're going from this point forward. And things change all the time, so bear with us and stick with us and communicate with us and let us know what you'd like to see and your thoughts. Thanks for stopping by, and if you've watched us for this long, thanks for watching.
take care.
God bless.